A few miles southwest, Tom Warner had his experience.
This was before he got the cable company, right?
I didn't even make that connection. So good. Time Warner, such a fucking good joke. So, Tom Warner.
God damn it, I can't hear him now. Mr. Warner, what about him?
Again, remember the directionally.
South.
This is a few miles southwest.
Yes.
So we're going.
Got it.
Tom Warner, the youngest of 7 children and a resident of Berkshire County, was 10 at the time of the incident, 10 years old. He lives in his childhood home, which his family has lived in for 6 generations. Now, one thing about Unsolved Mysteries with this.
Yes.
These 4 families and accounts, we got to hear.
We got to talk about it with the Unsolved Mysteries crew. And surprise, surprise, it was all bullshit.
No, we actually got their firsthand accounts. They had these people telling their story firsthand, just like David Huggins with you.
Oh, so much better.
So that's why I was like, I could read these articles, but I want their experiences because again, I want to see.
Yeah, you swerved just like I did. Yep.
Yes, I get the credibility feeling from them with more of a visual, like hearing them tell it.
Yeah,
these people, they saw some shit. They were legit, from what I can tell. Like it's what it comes down to for me is the micro expressions, the micro mannerisms. Yes. Like you said with David Huggins, he asked a question that wasn't something he would have rehearsed, and instead of making it up on the spot, he was like, maybe, like you said,
yeah, you had to think about it, recall it.
Yes.
Yeah. Was this too legit, though? Too legit to quit?
It's always too legit to quit.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Too cool for school. Sorry,
too Randy for Mr. Mandy.
Great.
I don't know. I tried something.
So what happened to Tom was pretty wild. Okay?
Yeah.
Tom was next door at his neighbor's house, the Shaws, where he would spend much of his time. Like this particular night, he would spend it coloring with his friends Debbie and Jane, different Jane.
I'd say there's a lot of Mary Jane here. Debbie Jane.
Debbie was a few years older than him and her sister, Jane. Now, he liked to spend his time coloring with them. Mm-hmm. He's the artist. And this is nothing against Tom. This is just something that I loved about what he said at this point when he was telling his story, is that he's an artist now. Mm-hmm. So, artist, there's a term when you talk about different types of tools you use, not tools, but types of art you do, and you call it your medium. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So I love this. He was telling this, recounting the tale. He said, back then my medium was crayons. I was like, that's pretty good.
Very true,
That's pretty good. So he was coloring with them. They witnessed his accounts that he is going to tell, and I share in a moment. They witnessed it and can corroborate it.
Did he have any paintings?
Many. Well,
so I'm trying to look for paintings. That's why I was asking.
Let's see. Did you look up Tom Warner paintings on Google Images? Let's see. I'm not seeing the one. Okay, I'm seeing the one.
I see you're on
Google Images.
I know.
You're going to see one with a UFO.
GOOGLE.
That's the only one that I think he ever did of it. We'll get to his painting later.
Okay. All right.
It makes sense a lot later.
I think I found it, though. Beyond the Star.
Yes, that one. So, he was at their house, and Debbie and Jane and whoever else was in the house, I think his brother, and probably, I'm assuming, the Shaw's family.
I was about to say, I hope mother or father was there, too.
So, they all witnessed what happened to him, which I'm about to tell you. That night, as it got later in the night, it was starting to get dark and dusk. It was about the same time as Jane had her experience.
Right.
Tom was sitting there coloring at the table. He stood up to go look outside the window where he probably was looking to see how late it was getting, where suddenly in his head, telepathically, he heard a stern, commanding voice say, "You need to go home now."
No.
It scared him. He immediately...
Yeah, it scared me even as an adult,
Right. It would scare me too. He immediately told Debbie that he needed to go home, to which she replied, "Why?" And he said, "I don't know. Maybe it's God telling me to leave." And he just immediately knew something, I have to leave now, because it told me, and what is this? It freaked him out.
Right.
He's 10 years old. It freaked the hell out of you.
He hears voices in his head. They talk to him.
Well, that was the first time he had heard that.
Right.
But
still, if you hear voices in your head and they talk to you.
Right. Now here's a little thought experiment for you. When you're thinking thoughts.
Oh boy, you're gonna ask the same question I just asked a client yesterday.
Okay, so what's your answer? Well, for those of you that don't know,
narration.
You narrate yourself.
I can see pictures if we're talking about like locations.
Okay,
or
for those listeners who don't know what we were talking about, there's not a thought experiment. Well, it's kind of a thought experiment.
It is kind of. Basically, it's a question.
Apparently, there's different ways that brains work for people. Some people do not picture things in their head. Like if I told you, hey, think of an apple, or hey, what's an apple look like? In my head, the way my brain works, I see the apple and I'm describing the apple. Mm-hmm. For some people, it's
like me.
Really, you don't see it.
I mean, I can see it. Like if I want to see the apple, I can.
Yeah.
Like visually in my head, picture an apple. But if I'm narrating, like reading to myself, I hear it's a narration. It's not a picture.
Great. And then okay. So that's the narration part. Yes. Yeah. Now, when you think thoughts. Mm-hmm. Do you speak in your head?
Yes.
Okay. So I do that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I speak in my head, and I don't really picture too much unless it's a descriptive. Like if you're telling me a description of a UFO, I'll picture that in my head. Sure.
But not just regular thoughts?
Exactly.
Like if I know, okay, here we go. Here's another one. If I have a to-do list, like I have to go run a bunch of errands later today.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, I have to do this, this, and this, for each one, I'm visualizing doing that because that's how that's how my brain works. I thought because I have to do it. So that might give you a little insight into why I'm such a visual guy.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm thinking about a list to do. Sure. I have to do. If we're talking about actually learning, though, I'm a doer. Like
Me too.
If I'm going to learn a task and all that shit, I need to do it. I can't just sit there and watch you talk on the board here, right?
Right. That's the same way with me. But anyway,
that's why school sucked.
Yes.
Because
me too.
They don't help with people like that.
Exactly. That's why I on the job training as an electrician. Mm-hmm. Got me to where I am from 13.
Same with personal training for me.
Exactly.
I had to actually do it.
Right. Exactly. Anyway, learning talk.
Fuck school.
So, where were we talking about? Voices in our head.
They're trying to grade us as fish climbing a tree.
Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's Albert Einstein.
I'm pretty positive.
You're trying to grade a fish on its ability to climb a tree.
Yes.
And that's basically what they do.
Yep.
For me. And for you, it sounds like.
Yes. Okay, so voices in their head.
Yes.
That's where we were. So it scared him. He immediately told Debbie he needed to leave. Yes. So in an adrenaline-fueled sprint, he turned and ran out of the front door and down the front yard where his only concern was reaching the house. He was in a panic, adrenaline-filled sprint.
He's running and all you hear is do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Oh, that March of the Chariot, or Flight of the Chariots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's what I pictured in my head.
Yeah. But something inside of him was from in his head. He knew that his house was safe, and that's where he had to be.
I need to get there.
Yes.
ASAP.
And at a certain point, he said that he felt like he was flying.
Ooh.
This is when the witnesses from the house saw him running in place in a dead sprint. He still was sprinting as fast as he could.
But off the ground?
He was on the ground, but he was not moving anywhere.
How the fuck's that happen? Was he on a treadmill?
Well, it's weird. And he said that he felt like he was flying at this point. Now, what's even weirder yet was for 5 minutes, they watched him running but not moving forward. Tom knew something was wrong, but he didn't stop. He was scared, and he was only concerned about gaining traction and getting to the house.
I'm just trying to picture like a motherfucker just running in place like Scooby-Doo.
It's pretty much like that.
Jesus.
But I mean, he's a 10-year-old kid.
Now, it wouldn't be funny in the moment, but thinking back now. It's
right, because when I was watching this, I'm like, well, why didn't anybody go out there and try and like, what the fuck you doing or something? But, you know.
In a sense, I'd be asking, how are you doing?
It would kind of be weird. It's kind of freaky too, you know? So I don't fault them. So here's where it really gets freaky, though.
Yeah.
He turned towards his left to a path in the yard, and as he turned, he saw in the sky above him a massive UFO soar down from a higher altitude.
Jesus Christ.
And at this point, he's able to slow motion, like turn where he's stuck.
Now, in this moment, did he know he was stuck running in place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And he said he felt like he was flying, but I didn't know if he knew he was
that he didn't know it was for 5 minutes.
Oh, that's the next question I had is why didn't he stop running then?
Yeah, exactly. A beam of light all of a sudden shot out of the UFO and illuminated him, covering him in light. All of this, again, is seen by those inside.
Yes.
As it did so, his hands and arms were jolted backwards, like Travis Walton.
Yes, I know. I was about to say the same thing.
Were jolted backwards, and he said he felt like all of the wind and air in his body were sucked out of his lungs. Yep. Yeah. He couldn't move. All of this still being witnessed by those inside, up until he disappeared.